37 Minecraft updates that you might not have noticed. Minecraft's been around for well over a decade, meaning that there's been plenty of updates and features added in. But while some of those get the spotlight, other changes fall to the patch notes. So to get you caught up, here are some of the tweaks that you might have just missed. And hey, the YouTube Yogi bets me that you can't subscribe to the channel using just your knuckles. So to prove them wrong, fist bump that red sub button down below. It's free and it helps out a ton. Number 1. While the Buzzy Bees update brought along plenty of game-changing features, this Honey update sweetened the deal in more ways than one. Namely, as of 1.15, rails now always place facing the player, instead of their usual north to south orientation, which makes a lot more sense. I mean, why would every rail on the earth face this way? It was just confusing. Number 2. Most of the time, we see vines as the inferior ladder. I mean, have you tried climbing a jungle tree using one of these? It's not always the easiest. But in recent times, vines have gotten a lot more interesting to use. As you can see, we can now climb these without supporting blocks, letting us ditch the mobs and bail right up to the treetops. Number 3. Fire doesn't always make sense in Minecraft. If you want proof, just look to Fire Aspect. In Java, it's only for mobs, but on Bedrock Edition, you can even light TNT using just a Fire Aspect book. And while that's strange, luckily for us on PC, flame bows make a lot more sense, since here, they're now able to reignite campfires using flame arrows, earning a point for logic and another for style. Number 4. Clearly, Minecraft is a great game, which is why it's always nice to see more accessibility options added in. So, for one example, if you don't want to be left out of the text conversation, then 1.12 has you covered. Simply hit Control B, and now chat will be narrated for easy listening. Simple as that. Number 5. When you're killing a bunch of mobs for XP, it's easy to lose focus, which is a shame, because when you take the time to actually get a breather, then you might just notice that these experience orbs have recently changed their look. As of recent versions, these bubbles are now transparent, which doesn't make too much of a difference since we still pick them up the same way, but hey, now you know. Number 6. Steve and Alex have pretty basic animations, to say the least. But that's not to discount the subtle ones that Mojang has added in. As you'll see, there are now several hand animations for things like placing a boat, feeding pandas, and even breeding animals, which I think is worth noticing just to give props for the subtle changes, because otherwise they'd go underappreciated. Number 7. Now, of the many things that Mojang could fix in the game, it's nice to see them work on the big things. Like, for example, how bamboo saplings were renamed to bamboo shoots. Because trust me, the game was unplayable until that fix. But jokes aside, if they're gonna make the name more accurate, then why can't we compost these like real life too? It just seems unbalanced. Number 8. A handful of Minecraft textures tend to go unnoticed, but some of that is intentional. For instance, how would you ever notice that the Nether update gave redstone a bottom texture if 99% of the time you can't even place this item unsupported? So if you didn't notice this, I don't blame you. I didn't either, but now we both know where to find it. Number 9. Proper capitalization clearly means a lot to me. I mean, it's the reason why I'm skip the tutorial and not skip the tutorial. So fortunately, 1.16 proved Mojang is also on that same page. Now, when you're editing a sign, it says edit sign message with consistent capitalization, which I've got to say looks quite a bit nicer. Number 10. With the changes in the Caves and Cliffs update, Minecraft's build height has needed to expand. And while that means that we can now place blocks much higher than we used to, one feature actually got even taller. Now, beacon beams are visible up to 1,343 blocks away from the source, as opposed to the 256 of the past. Number 11. When you're building, sometimes it can be frustrating when blocks don't behave how you'd expect, which is why it's nice that recent versions have glass panes and iron bars lining up properly with the walls. Before, if you looked at something like this, it's just not what you would want for the structure. So a subtle change, but a treat to the eyes nonetheless. Number 12. Sometimes the different item names can be easy to lose track of, and it seems that even Mojang knows this. That's why, as of the Nether update, the clay block and the clay item that you get from breaking it now have a distinction. Since then, these have been called clay balls, which is probably what you called them anyway, so the change makes sense. Number 13. Some information you've got to take to the grave, and coordinates fall comfortably in that category. So while the new lodestone compatibility with compasses definitely seems cool, it could go south quick if someone happened to steer a compass on death. If you're worried about handing over your secret stash, then just add Curse of Vanishing to the thing, and bam, no secrets left behind. Number 14. I imagine it's hard to code features that not only make sense for survival, but also the all-powerful creative mode, which is probably why milking was never implemented properly until recently. In fairness, when you're able to grab infinite milk buckets out of your inventory, why would you even bother with the cow? But if you really want to, then this change has got you covered. Number 15. There are plenty of hidden gems to see just by messing around with Minecraft's NBT data. But with the Caves and Cliffs update, there's even a new fun sight to see. Now, slimes can be summoned with a maximum size of 128, allowing for some disturbingly huge mobs to roam your world. And all I can say is this: thank God they don't spawn in survival. Number 16. Along with the changes to the Nether, Soul Sand also got a much cooler, more laid-back cousin. Because whether you're using it for a basalt generator or soul campfires, soul soil just generally seems like less of a burden. But the question is, can it spawn withers? And as you can see, it works just the same, making this an even better replacement for the sand of the past. Number 17. It's a well-established rule: you can't sleep when monsters are nearby. But while that's not changing anytime soon, Mojang has added one small bit to lighten the load. You see, even though you can advance to morning when a zombie is next door, you're still able to set your spawn point the same, which is nice because if I'm stuck here, I'd at least want a safety net to keep on hand. Number 18. Totems of Undying are an invaluable item to have. But apparently, a good thing can get even better, since as of 1.16.2, these idols now give off 40 seconds of fire resistance as well. So if you have to use one, then at least it pulls out all the stops for you. Number 19. Sometimes Mojang seems a bit indecisive on a certain change. Take Netherite leggings for example. Originally added in Snapshot 20W6A, their texture just changed 4 weeks later, only to change again in the post-release in 1.16.4. And I imagine there are other more important things to worry about than a pair of pants. Number 20. To the right person, texture inconsistencies can be very frustrating, because after you notice it, it's going to be tough to unsee. And while the jungle door originally fell in this category, we can rest easy with the new 1.17 update. Here, the item sprite and the door texture finally line up again, meaning we'll just have to find some other texture to complain about. Number 21. Dispensers continue to get more and more characteristics of the right-click button, whether that's placing pumpkins, NT and water buckets, or, in recent cases, being able to add chests to tamed llamas, donkeys, and mules. Now, why would you want to automate this? I'm not exactly sure, but for what it's worth, now you can. Number 22. The building community is always looking for new ways to decorate, and since 1.16, campfires have gotten a lot more functionality there. Now, it's possible to place food on an unlit campfire, allowing for some kind of shelf design to use in your base. It seems pretty situational, but I guess it's nice to have. Number 23. After hours of digging, it can get pretty boring to break all the blocks yourself, but with the help of TNT duplication, we don't even need to. And while that's been a nice option, it became an even better alternative when the Village and Pillage update rolled around, now giving TNT explosions a 100% drop rate, meaning that every block that you break with these should now drop as an item. Number 24. Let's be honest, dispensers are an annoying block to craft. Since there's no good way to quick craft items with a non-stackable in the recipe, it takes a long time to make a lot. But would you believe it, these used to be even worse to craft. Pre 1.13, we needed full health bows to craft them, and it's a pain that I'm glad we no longer have. Number 25. For so long in Minecraft history, water and rails have not mixed, which is why it's hard to believe that this rule finally changed in 1.17. Going forward, we're able to place our rails and carts right next to flowing water just fine. And while it's gonna take some getting used to, I can already see this opening up a bunch of new possibilities. Number 26. Skeleton horses are a weird feature in Minecraft. Sure, they look awesome, but they're so slow and hard to get that they often work better as a trophy than a utility. That is, until Mojang started working on the aquatic side. No joke, what these lack on land, they actually make up for by being able to ride a skeleton horse underwater, which is just great. Number 27. I feel like Minecraft's sound design often goes underappreciated. Really, if a sound effect works, then it shouldn't be noticeable, but rather just fitting background noise. So while you might not have noticed that vines now play a sound when you climb them, well, let's get a listen the next time that you're in a jungle. At least once just to hear it. Number 28. I've never been entirely sure of why certain bits of redstone work. However, the update Aquatic gave a bit more of a reasoning. You see, when the lever is switched on, we now see tiny redstone particles around the thing, which I suppose makes it more fitting, but there's no redstone in the thing. I guess I still don't get it. Number 29. Parrots are some of the most adorable mobs in Minecraft, but even though they seem sweet on the outside, these birds actually used to be quite a bit meaner. Prior to 1.16, it was possible that parrots would imitate hostile mobs on peaceful mode, so now they just keep their beaks shut and let us relax in peace, and thankfully so. Number 30. Look, I don't blame you if you don't walk backwards a lot. All in all, it's substantially slower and just about as awkward as it is in real life. But if you hop in a third-person point of view, you'll notice that this motion now has a new animation since its past. Now, instead of walking backwards in a rotated fashion, you just walk straight backwards. Number 31. With all the new nether blocks that were added in, we got ourselves something of a counterpart to cobblestone. With blackstone, we can craft ourselves furnaces, as well as our stone tools. But strangely, one nether-centric item was missing. Well, 1.16.2 rectified that, now letting us to make a brewing stand using the darker stone. Number 32. 2. Eating a pufferfish isn't a great idea. Not only is the poison gonna leave you with a damaged life bar, but the nausea isn't that fun either. But that latter effect has actually gotten some changes. Instead of giving off nausea 2, pufferfish only give off nausea 1 when consumed in 1.16.2. That doesn't make any difference, so it's just a pointless change. Number 33. Gilded Blackstone stands as one of the rarest blocks to find in Minecraft. But if you're really looking for this block for your builds, then the recent versions might have you covered. In current generations of Bastion remnants, you're even more likely to find the block hiding underneath Bastion chests. So look out for those if you want to strike gold. Number 34. Minecraft is known to struggle when there are too many entities in one space. So thankfully, 1.17's got a change that's set to help where it can. In that update, experience orbs will merge into larger quantities to help with performance. So to everyone with insane XP farms, rejoice. Number 35. Have you ever heard the classic adage, dead men tell no tales? While that might be true, they don't forget them either. Even after you zombify a villager, it still manages to remember the gossip from its life. And don't ask me how getting your brains eaten still allows you to remember things like this, because I've got no earthly clue. Number 36. Enderman and water don't mix. Then it makes sense that since 1.11, they'll take 1 hit point of damage when they're hit by a splash bottle of water. Although, don't feel bad if you never noticed this before, because if you hit them directly with it, they're just likely to teleport away, meaning this change likely stayed underground. Number 37. Lava is not the best for visibility, but when you're in spectator mode, it's just frustrating to be blinded. Well, thankfully with 1.17's slew of changes, that restriction also got lifted. So, going forward, be prepared to properly spectate the Nether Fortress battle. Nothing's gonna hold you back. And with that, folks, discover that red sub button down below, and have a good one, alright?